before we get started with the hutch that we're going to work on today, I want to show you what I did over the weekend. I had so much fun doing it. I even did like a fun little reel and TikTok on it, but it doesn't fit in the whole picture because the camera's too close, but I can't put it too far back. You won't be seeing what I'll be working on soon. So check out this. This is the Palmetto by Dixie Belle. And this is an old door. This is a decoupage paper from Decoupage Queen. I love it. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you what I did over the weekend. Now let me show you what we're going to work on. Let me just push this out of the way. Just put that over there. All right. So here is another hutch. Yes, you can say that I somewhat have an addiction to hutches. I have hutches, I think, from every era. I just love them. I don't know what it is about them, but when I see one, I buy it. Anyway, this hutch here, I've already prepped, washed it with white lightning, put my first coat of paint on it, just so we could be ready to go with what we're gonna do. Real quick, these parts on a hutch can be really hard to get to. These are the decorative wood parts. Sometimes they're on the inside of the glass, sometimes they're on the outside of the glass. This one happened to be on the outside of the glass, so I was able to just take some thicker cardboard stock paper and just shove it underneath, so that way I could go ahead and paint without having to worry about getting it on the glass. All right, so today what we're gonna do is, I have so many brand new, cool decoupage papers in. I have some from Decoupage Queen and all of the new Roy Cycle Treasures papers. They're all awesome. So, let me show you what I did. I'm going to add the paper that I just showed you down here. It's called Paris. And I went ahead and gave the hutch one coat. I like the Midnight Sky. It's not quite black. It's like a deep gray, like a charcoal. So that is what I chose because it just seems to go with the paper. Let's see. Just for time's sake, I went ahead, measured, cut it out. But this one's gonna go here, and the other paper is gonna go over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring the camera a little closer so you can see what I'm working on. You don't need to see me, just basically what you're doing. So let me get that. Coming in a little closer. All right, ready? Ooh. All right, I don't like it to be crooked. That's about as close as I can get, simply because my iPad is plugged into the power. Anyway. So there are several different ways you can apply your paper. I generally like to use the spray, the adhesive spray, but I do that in a well ventilated area. In here, if I were to do it now, it would be really stinky, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just use my clear coat. Clear Coat by Dixie Belle, use the satin. You can use Mod Podge or whatever kind of paint brand you use. You can use their sealer. And I am just going to simply put a layer of the clear coat on. You want to be careful that you don't get too many bubbles or a lot of like puddles where your clear coat is, because that is what happens when you get wrinkles. And it's okay that it's dripping down here because I'm going to put another layer of the Midnight Sky on, and eventually I'll be covering the whole piece with clear coat. All right, so there is that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick my first piece on. Now when I cut it, I measured it. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I'm just going to take it. And I'm going to run it down super slow and just kind of make sure I get the least amount of wrinkles as possible. Now, I have my brayer here. This is just, if you don't have a brayer, it's like a roller. I'm just going to roll it, making sure I have good adhesion and it's sticking to the clear coat that I put on, and I try to get out all the wrinkles. Here we go. So far, so good. Okay, let's go ahead and put the other paper on. Oh. My knee. Oh. Getting old is not always fun. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Give it a nice layer of clear coat. Now, I'm missing the bottom part of this decorative piece, so I'm not exactly sure how far down to go. I'm going to go a little bit further than I probably need to with the clear coat, and that's okay because I'll be able to paint right over it. I'd rather have too much of the area covered than not enough. Get my brayer, I'm going to roll it out. This helps flatten any wrinkles that might be there. And there we go. Now we have Paris on the bottom of the hutch. Now what I need to do is I want to make sure that I have all the edges are stuck down, and then I'm going to give it one more layer of clear coat so to make sure it stays on. So I'm going to go around the whole edge first. When I do that, I can make sure and I can see if anything needs to get any more clear coat underneath. Make sure I have every part of it on there. Okay, so now that I've checked the corners and the edges, I'm going to go back and give it once over. It gives it kind of a shadow right now on here. You can see the difference. That will dry clear, so no worries about that. Now, if you notice, I am covering up over the handle holes, but I'll just open it up from the inside, I'll poke holes through, and then I'll be able to put the handles on. Okay, let me go to this side over here. Making sure I get the edges. Applying a little bit of pressure, make sure the edges are down. And then I'm going to go back and give it just a nice light coat. And there we go. Now this, when it dries, you'll see a nice Paris scape. And up right here is the Eiffel Tower in the background. It might be a little bit hard for you to see the paper from back there, and it is wet. Once it dries, it'll be better and easier to see. And of course, I'll be putting pictures on the Facebook page when I'm all done. And then when I get the whole video edited, it'll be on my YouTube channel. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up with a coat of the Midnight Sky. So we're gonna do, this is my second coat. I always put the first coat down just because it helps darken underneath the paper so it kind of blends all together. So I'm gonna move the camera back out so you can see me paint the rest of it. And I'll lift it a little bit and then you can see, oh, I just love that piece. That'll be for sale in the store shortly. I just have to figure out if I'm gonna do anything to the inside of the hutch or not. If you have any ideas of what maybe I could do to the inside of this hutch, let me know. I kind of like it brown because it matches this fun door. I don't know, we'll see. Okay. So again, I'm using the Midnight Sky, Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral Paint. My brush is a little bit wet. Whenever I do my second coat, I like to have it wet for sure because it makes it go on a little bit smoother. And sometimes I'll even use my spray, my Mr. bottle, and that'll help make it go on smooth too. Can anybody guess what brush I'm using? It's my favorite brush. I talk about it all the time. My fave. It just holds enough paint. It gets into all the details when you're painting, and it's just super easy to use. So right now I'm going to avoid the bottom just because there's some areas where that clear coat is still wet, so I'm just going to do the rest. Now, when I get done painting it, I'm going to go ahead and do some wet distressing. So if you want to see how that is done, stick around for a couple more minutes. I'm only going to do the front. I'll do the sides off camera. So this is the second coat of the Midnight Sky. I think if I would have used the Caviar, which is the deep black, it would have been too dark with the paper. I think the Midnight Sky was a good choice for the color. What's really nice again about my oval medium is when I'm doing the details on this hutch here, I can get both sides at the same time. But if I was using my flat mini or my angle mini, I'd have to make sure I got one on both sides. But if you just do this and swirl, you get both sides. Super easy and fast. You don't have to put paper behind it because you can always take a razor blade and clean it, but since this wood decorative trim was on the outside, it was just super easy to slide that paper up under there. See how fast and easy that is with this oval medium? I have them in stock. So if you need one, let me know. And then of course, brush maintenance is very, very, very important. If you're gonna invest in a high quality brush, you need to get a scrubby soap. Scrubby soaps are the best things to maintain soft bristles. It'll even work if you leave your brush out and the paint dries on. It's perfect for that too. Oh, so starting tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be going on the Iron Orchid Designs Facebook page every 2 weeks, and I'm going to be doing some cool projects. I already have a bunch lined up, but tomorrow we're going to have a fun time. We're going to be making something I think is fun, and you can adapt it to anything you want it to say. So tune into that. I'll be on it. That's the Iron Orchid Designs page. All right, let me just get this. See how fast this oval medium is? I just love it. Oh yes, and I'm in Florida, so we are anticipating Elsa's arrival soon. It has been sprinkling kind of all day here in Fort Myers, but nothing too bad yet. So, well, hopefully it'll just stay out in the golf and not really get us. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna get the edges here around the paper. And then after I do this, we're gonna go ahead and wet distress. It's mahogany underneath, so it'll be a dark brown when it comes through, so that'll be a nice look. Won't be too bright, because sometimes if you're painting a lighter piece of furniture, it comes through really bright when you have a dark color. All right, so there we go. I'm just gonna double check for drips, because drips are not good. Move this. It's coming together. This right now looks a little dark, but it won't dry that dark. All right. So when you wet distress, you can wet distress with wet paper towel, baby wipes, and just because they're convenient and they're right here, I'm going to use baby wipes. And you just simply wipe. This is a lot less messier than using sandpaper. So you probably can't see that. So I'm going to do this part right here, and then I'm going to bring the camera closer because you can see what is happening with this wet distress. It adds a little bit. There we go. Let me just bring that camera in real quick. Let's show you. Sorry for the shaking of the camera. Let me just show you. See that? Look at that. And with wet distressing, it gives it more of a natural distress look than with sandpaper, because sandpaper tends to go way down into the wood that doesn't need to be sanded off. Whoops, let's go. See if I can get you straight again. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my baby wipe, yeah, I'm crooked, and go around and take off some of the paint that I just put on. I'm not going to take off too much, just enough to add some detail to it. Let me get you straight. Beep. Ugh. Okay, well, this is why I generally don't like to move the camera. I'd rather move the piece, but this piece was too big and I couldn't get the wheels underneath it, so I just decided I'd try the camera today, but there we go. And you don't have to apply too much pressure. It just seems to come off pretty good. And you don't necessarily need it to be even everywhere. Like if it came off really heavy here and a lot lighter here, but that makes it look more authentic than if it was all exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish wet distressing this, take some pictures and throw them up on the Facebook page. Thank you for joining me. And tomorrow, come visit the Iron Orchid Designs page and you'll see me at noon. We'll be doing a fun project. If you're in Florida, take care and hope Elsa stays to the golf. All right, you guys have a great day.